Now that our blend spaces and our animation blueprints are set up, we can start applying this to our character. So make sure that your blend space is compiled, your blueprint, your animation blueprint is compiled, and we're going to close that down. Now, like I said a couple of videos ago, we're going to use the default original third-person character that Unreal gives you. So let's go back to our content folder. Let's go over to third person, into blueprints, and then we've got BP third person character. Now I'm not going to get us to change that directly because I don't want to break that, so I'm just going to take a copy of it, back to content, into my characters, into beeps. I'm going to just paste it here. And I'm going to rename this beeps BP, beeps blueprint. And let's open this up. Now this is the code that's already there for you. It's the code that Unreal has. I'm not interested in this just yet. What I am interested in is the viewport. So over here, and use the default character. I'm going to click on the mesh. Click on the current default character. Over on the right hand side, you can see that this is the skeletal mesh asset that's currently attached to this. But I don't want that one, I want my one. So I'm going to click that drop down box. There's going to be a big list of these here, but right at the top is my one, it's beeps. Now, yours will likely be in this list somewhere, so either find it or give it a search and attach it here. Now, 1.85 meters for the height actually wasn't a bad shout, and it's almost in there. So what I'm just going to quickly do, I'm going to quickly disable the scale there, or the scale snapping. I'm just going to quickly just make him a little bit shorter. There, that'll do. So he just fits inside that capsule just about. Maybe just a little bit more. Actually, no, I'll leave it. That's fine. Okay, now if I compile, he doesn't animate. He just stood there in an E pose. And I don't want that. So we've got to attach the animation blueprint or the animation class, which we created in the last video. This is nice and easy to do. Above the skeletal mesh asset, you'll see anim class. If you click that drop down box, there's a big list there. If I type in beeps, because I call my beeps ABP, I can select that, and suddenly now he's animated. So there we go, he's got animation. So let's give that a go. I'm just going to close this down. Now remember, this is not our character. That's just a physical asset that we put in the scene. So we can delete that. I'm actually going to delete the starting point here. I'm going to drag beeps BP into the scene. There's beeps BP. Now remember, you don't just automatically possess your characters, so you've got to click on your character, go over to your details. I'm going to type in POSS for possess, and I'm going to change auto possess player to player 0. Now if I play, great stuff. I'm controlling my character, so hopefully when I move now, amazing. He's doing the jog animation which was assigned to him. That's perfect. Now I haven't got a controller plugged into this, and I haven't created the sprint system yet, so I can't actually see it blend between those. You can sort of see it briefly as he slows down there. However, this should be working. The fact that it's actually moving shows that the blend space is currently calculating the correct speed, which is awesome. Something to keep an eye on. You can see it just a little bit with mine. I'm hovering on the ground just a little bit. If your character's doing that, or if your character's sunk into the ground, it's a nice easy fix. Just go to your blueprint, into the viewport, and just disable the snapping for position. And I'm just going to move this down a little bit. There we go. Is that appropriate? I think that's fine. There we go. I'm no longer floating. I'm actually running on the ground. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Perfect. I'm now going to implement a little bit of simple coding just to make sure that this blend space is working. So I'm going to open up beeps BP. I'm just going to go down here. Actually, let's go up here, get out of the way of the jump. And we're going to use shift. I'm going to right click and say shift. I'm going to use left shift. And very simply, once it's pressed, I'm going to drag character movement down here. And I'm going to say set max walking speed. Set max walk speed. Perfect. Here we go. If it's pressed, I'm going to set the max walk speed to 700. And if it's released, I'm then going to set max walk speed to 500, which is the normal walk speed. That should work. Just compile. Here we go. If we test this now, run in, I'm going to hold shift. Perfect. You can see that now my speed increases, and potentially more importantly, my animation reacts accordingly. Now that's a nice simple example. If you wanted to charge up, you potentially could get it to change over time using potentially a timeline. But for now, this is working nicely. If you do use a timeline, you'll see that animation blend a little bit smoother than what I've done there. But that works. Alright, let's do the reverse now. So back to my event graph. Let's move this up a little bit. And I'm going to say control. Also just, there, CTRL for control. I'm going to use left control. Now this isn't something I probably want in my game unless I've got maybe a sneak mechanic. But it's going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to say set walk speed. And I'm going to set the max walk speed now to 250. And again, if it's released, I'm just going to plug it into that. So set max walk speed back to 500. Nice and simple. Let's give this a go. Shift to sprint, and then hopefully control. There we are, to walk. So you can see that my character is now animating based on the speed that I'm telling him to run. Now the walk section of code that you probably aren't going to need that. If you're using a controller, then you can naturally just push the analog stick in a little bit less, and that'll naturally walk less for you. As for the sprint, you could bind that to the left analog click in as well to set that speed. So it'll work the exact same way. That's awesome. That's really good. Really happy with that. Okay, if your character is animating correctly and if your character is moving as you're expecting, that's brilliant. If it isn't, go back to the video. Like I said before, make sure that all of those connections are set up properly. Make sure you're using the correct symbols for more than, less than, and just go back through the videos and just double check everything's linked up properly. Otherwise, if it's all working correctly, you're ready to move on to the next video.